Well, we've come to the end. This is the final official week of class lecture and discussion. I think I'll post a brief just video for next week outlining some of the final things that need to be done by that Friday. All of your final projects need to be in by Friday. If you can upload them sooner than that, that'll give other folks in the class a chance to look at them and enjoy them and to see where you have been in the class throughout this very brief 8-week term. But in this week we finish out our look at Christianity in Latin America, Central and South America, with two pieces. One by Jose Miguel Bonino. He is Argentinian. He recently died just almost a year ago now, and is a Protestant theologian, a very significant Protestant theologian who is primarily interested in sort of ecumenical dialogue across different versions, branches of Christianity, and beyond Christianity, different religions as well. He was one of the only Protestants to be invited to sit in, certain spaces in during Vatican II at those proceedings for the Catholic Church. So he is a pretty important and prominent theologian in the fact that he's Protestant and yet can speak very well to Catholics and Protestants and Orthodox folks alike. Is a tremendous testament to his acumen as an intellectual and as a theologian. His piece is fantastic. Is one of my favorite pieces, so you better like it. No, on history, on memory, right, and on the role of and place of Latin American theologians and theology. So this is a people, right? This is a people who are those who are trained in theology. He says in this essay, have a second-rate theological training. And what he means by that, not is that it's not good, but it's not in contrast to people in the United States or Europe or these other first world places. His degree isn't just one of sitting down thinking theoretically about God and about how Christianity plays itself out. First and foremost, Miguel Bonino is an activist, and as an activist he does theology. He's an activist. He champions justice and change within Latin American society and indeed within global society, right? But he's first an activist. He's first interested in how we are and conduct ourselves as a people, right? Where are the structures and instances of justice and injustice in the world? Second, he is a theologian. He's interested in the questions that theologians ask. I just finished and submitted a chapter for a book that's going to be published in Colombia, South America, on Jose Miguel Bonino and this essay in particular. So I have a bit of a vested interest in the discussion that he's making. The second essay, we read Enrique Dussel last week. Remember, he's Argentinian as well, but he's been working in Mexico City for quite a while at this point. This essay came out a couple decades ago, so it's a little bit dated, but I like to include it because it's very, very poignant, and especially at this point in the course right now. So in this course, we've gone through and we've done, some historical stuff, some contemporary stuff. We've teased out a little bit of what it means to have Christianity spread amongst indigenous populations. What is it for Christianity to be brought to these populations and by foreigners, right? We've vacillated back and forth may have felt jerky at times between, colonial project as it's getting off the ground in the 15 to 1600s and contemporary stuff that's going on today. And Dussel has a fantastic way in this essay of bringing it home. And I've asked you and throughout this course to deal with questions of enculturation, right? Where do we see this happening? What do we think of it? Are these people doing it better than these other people, right? And for the most part, we've been using that term fairly well, but I've noticed in several threads, not just last week, but several weeks coming on in, there's a little bit of misuse of the term itself. So enculturation is one form that Christianity is spread. Right? Think of methods here. It's one method by which people have tried to spread Christianity. There are other methods as well. The Portuguese and Spanish, by and large, and indeed various colonial powers have tried to enforce the spread of Christianity, right? So accept this or die. We read this last week with Cortez and Columbus and these other folks, right? But enculturation is something different. Enculturation is what Matteo Ricci was trying to do. Francis Xavier was trying to do over in Asia, right? Trying to try to keep this definition in mind when you think and use this term. How can we spread Christianity, right? How can we spread this idea while upholding the indigenous culture, right? Not destroying it, not trying to convert the entire culture into some foreign culture, and yet not lose our own culture at the same time. So Matteo Ricci is our example. He cruises over to China. He translates all of these Confucian texts into Latin. So he brings Confucianism into Europe where it had never been before, and in so doing also brings Christianity, the Gospels, he translates into Chinese. So there's this symbiosis that happens with enculturation. Now, what Dussel wants to talk about in this essay is that kind of enculturation, although not necessarily with the spreading of Christianity, bringing Christianity to this people who have never heard it before, because he's dealing right now with Latin America, which is predominantly Catholic, predominantly Christian-based at this point, contemporary times, right? But enculturation is there. He's looking at how can Latin Americans now, and this is the other term that I've had you wrestle with a bit, indigenization. How can we have an indigenous form of Latin American Christianity? So that's a question he's interested in this essay. But he wants to bring it to the other two-thirds world populations of theologians as well. So what we get in this essay is a recording, kind of like the minutes of these meetings that Dussel is involved with theologians in Asia, theologians in Africa, theologians in Latin America. And that's largely why I like to use this. It's this sort of capstone. Where are we now? Or at least where are we in like 1987 when this thing comes out, right? But largely things haven't changed, unfortunately. He's calling for, can we have indigenous forms of Christianity and still have that universality that the Christian church proclaims? Does universality mean that we wipe out all cultures and there's just one monoculture? Or can Christianity exist and indeed thrive, right, in its multiplicity? And somewhere in that multiplicity, we have that Catholicity. That's a lot of terms, I'm sorry. Can we have unity in the midst of diversity? Right? Can it be a truly universal? Catholic means universal. Can we have a truly Catholic Christianity that doesn't destroy, that doesn't impose these structures of injustice? It doesn't try to obliterate a society or a culture's way of life, and yet Christianity can find its own words, its own voice, its own expressions, and yet that's still somehow okay. That's what he's wrestling with, and he's saying that it has to be I'll let you read it. This is my take on some of the ending. Has to be born from within the two-thirds world. If you want an indigenous form of Christianity, it has to be indigenous. Does that make sense? Alright, so I'll leave you with those two. Look forward to the sort of wrap-up discussions. Feel free to go crazy. This is our last week together. And be working and thinking about your final projects that are due on the 28th, right? So after the 28th, I won't accept them. Please don't send them to me. You can submit them anytime before that. That's fine. And please, 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 I'm open to this. Nobody takes advantage of this very often. Maybe nobody's watching lectures. I don't know. Email me. You have a question, you're stumped, you want to know if you're going the right direction, you want to know if you have a proper thesis statement, you want to know if this thing makes sense, right? Send it to me. Let me read it. Use me, right? That's what I'm here for. Let me help you along the way to produce a solid project here at the end. And it'd be fantastic if we could find a way to share this with the rest of the class. I have a Dropbox set up. We'll figure it out. Anyway, happy discussing this week, and I will talk to you soon.